Hello, guys. I hope that you can see me. I hope that you guys can see me. Welcome, 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 welcome. Let me wait for a little bit to see what's going on here on the line. First of all, let me apologize for my let me apologize for my video. I don't like the color of it. It looks really, I don't know, reddy. I don't know what color this is, but let me start by apologizing for that. I'm messing some stuff here, guys. So I'm gonna wait for a few before I actually start. I do not, I repeat, I do not like this color, but anyway, it's fine. What can I do about it? Nothing at this point. Anyway, I'm gonna get started. Let's see what time is it. It's 22. Okay, I'm gonna get started shortly. I'm going to get started. Okay, that's my Facebook and posting to. So I'm gonna get started. Okay, I'm about to get started. First of all, let me say good night to everyone, or whoever's listening. My name is Nadia Alexandria, and this is Sex Tea with Nadia Alexandria. So, before I start, let me do my disclaimers. This show is for adults, so you must be over 18 to be a part of this conversation. Okay, this is not a kids' channel. So, the information that I'm going to be giving here, um, rated X, not rated PG 13. So kids are not allowed to view this, okay? So we are all adults, so we have to respect each other. We may not agree, but we have to always respect each other. You can still text me at 872-233-0224. You can still text in your comments, your questions, anything like that. You can still send those in. I have my phone, so I will be able to read those. You can WhatsApp me, or you can email me at sextea, that's SEXTEANA @gmail.com. You can email your comments, your opinions, anything like that, and I will read those and respond to those. Okay, so that is my disclaimer. Everything expressed here is either from my experience or research that I've done or conversations that I've had with people in the past, present, and hopefully future conversations. Okay, so let's dive in. Tonight's conversation is going to be about sex and food. I know we have a lot of food lovers out there, and oh, you know what? Before I dive in, let me tell you a little bit about myself. Again, my name is Nadia Alexandria. So I am a nurse. I am a former owner of an adult store. I am the former Miss Bahamas. So I have some credentials under my belt. And I have a lot of experience in sexuality. So, yeah, conversations will be coming from my experience. And tonight, the tea that I am drinking is actually mint tea. I had a very long day. So I'm trying to wind down. I'm going to have my mint tea and I'm going to have some Baileys on the side. Okay. So let's dive in. So tonight's conversation is going to be about sex and food. So I always heard this growing up that a way to a man's heart is through his stomach. I don't know how true that is, but we're going to explore some of these questions. And I am expecting some comments and additional questions to come in as we do this live. The live tonight will not be as long, just because it's my first time doing the live and I'm just kind of trying to get the feel for it, testing it out, messing around with the color and everything like that. So tonight's live will not be as long. But before I go on, I'm wearing a piece from my lingerie line. I don't know if you guys can see it. So yeah, so you can wear this with jeans, a skirt, or just as is. Tonight I'm wearing it with sweatpants. So I'm really feeling chill and laid back or whatever. So I have on my sweatpants and, I have on a lingerie. So who cares? Anyway, let's dive in. So one of the questions I got about sex and food is, how does weight affect intimacy? Because, a lot of times we think, okay, it doesn't matter the size. Size has nothing to do with our sex life. Let me take this tea bag out because I do not like my tea too dark. Size has nothing to do with our sex life. It doesn't matter the size. We can still have great sex, which in some cases is true, but it's also true that your size do affect your sex life. So let's talk about it. When I say size or food and sex, or size, I'm not just talking about being overweight, because being underweight can also be an issue during sex. Nobody wants to, some people may like that feeling, of really skinny, scrawny kind of feeling. Some people might be into that, to each his own. But when we talk about it from a health aspect, if you're overweight and you are trying to engage in intimacy, well, for one, when you're overweight, it kind of affects your sex drive, your performance, and your desire. So the three of those can be affected. This is a true story. I was dating a guy, and he was overweight. He was overweight when I met him. But anyway, it took us a while to take it to the next step. But when we finally did, I remember he would sweat so freaking much. And I am like, I don't like sweat. I just don't like it. That's me. And he would literally drench the entire bed. Everything would be soaked with sweat. And it was, to me, it was repulsive, but I couldn't say that. But it was a turn off because I was like, why is this guy sweating so much? And I'm talking about, it could be like 2 minutes into it, and he would be sweating profusely and breathing really hard. And I'm just like, oh my God, this guy is gonna pass out on top of me. He's already like 3 times my size. He's gonna kill me because I won't be able to get him off of me. So, it happened a few times. It went on like that for probably I want to say a month or two. And I'm like, you know what? I can't do this. I have to have the conversation. And I'm like, listen, you have to do something about your weight, because when we are engaging in that weight, I am afraid, you are out of breath, you're sweating all over the place. It's like, it's not cutting it for me. And surprisingly, he actually took the conversation really well, and he started to, exercise and started to eat better and whatnot so he could lose the weight. And as he lost the weight, the sweating went away with it. So I knew that the weight had everything to do with that. He wasn't breathing. He wasn't out of breath 2 minutes into it. He wasn't breathing heavily anymore. His stamina went up. Everything improved when he lost the weight. But weight does affect your sex life. I don't care what nobody says. If they say, oh no, that's not true, I can still perform, whatever. Yeah, you can still perform, but how will your performance be? Will it be the same as if you were like a healthy weight? Will you be able to do all those different positions and all those moves? Will you be out of breath? Will you be sweating all over your partner? You know, that's pretty scary. I mean, I wouldn't want somebody to have a heart attack on top of my holy grail. That will not work for me. But anyway, so that was my experience with dating a guy that was overweight. And I'm talking about like seriously overweight. I'm like, what, 130 pounds? This guy was like 280 something, 290. I like, come on, But like I said, to each his own. But I still, my point still remains that too much weight can be a problem. Too little weight can be a problem. Imagine somebody's grossly underweight, and you try and think. First of all, they're not gonna have the energy. They're not gonna have the energy to really perform because they don't have enough weight on their body to really have the energy. I mean, if you're not eating properly and you're not getting the proper nutrition and stuff like that, where's the energy going to come from? If you don't even have enough weight on to sustain yourself, where's the energy going to come from to perform? So being overweight is a problem, being underweight is a problem. So guys, let me know what you think about it. Let me know if you feel like weight is an issue during your sex or your intimacy. Again, you can send in your text messages at 872-233-0224 or send an email at sexteana@gmail.com. All right, so now we're going to talk about foods that can actually increase your sex drive. I was like, wow, they have food that can make me feel horny. Well, damn. So I did my research and I'm like, as I'm doing the research, right, I'm looking at the foods and I'm like, well, first I did foods that kind of like diminish your sex drive. And I'm like, shit, I eat that. Shit, I drink that. Like that. So maybe if I take some of these things out of my diet, I will have a higher sex drive. I don't know. But according to my research, there are a lot of foods out there that actually do diminish your sex drive, and there are foods out there that can increase or enhance your sex drive. So I want to start with the foods let's start with the foods that diminish your sex drive. And then, we talk about the bad stuff first, and then we'll put the good stuff on top of it. And guys, just tell me if like when you're eating certain foods, if you feel like less excited about sex, or you feel if there are certain foods or drinks that you drink that make you feel horny, like, damn, I want to smash like now, I'll tell you my little secrets if you tell me yours. So here are some of the bad foods that affects our sex drive. On top of my list, I have white flour. Everybody likes, cookies and pastries and desserts and stuff like that, but most of the flour is bleached, and it's not good for you. So it diminishes your sex drive. White flour. Soda. I know a lot of people love soda, and they have like every flavor of soda out there. I'm not a soda drinker. I tried the sugar-free stuff, but I'm just, it's been in my fridge like forever. I can't get with the soda, but it has a lot of sugar in it. And sugar is also one of those bad foods that drives your sex drive down. So believe it or not, microwave popcorns. I'm like, what? You go to the movies or whatever, you Netflix and chill it, and you having your little popcorn or whatever. Apparently there's an ingredient in the popcorn that actually drives your sex drive down. I was kind of shocked to find that out. I'm like, popcorn's okay, cool, whatever. Shrimp. So for all the shrimp lovers out there, you want to limit your intake of shrimp because it does take your sex drive down, okay? Especially for males, all right? So, and I know shrimp tastes so good. I know. It's like, damn, everything you like to eat is like driving me down. I can't, I'm not saying if you eat it tonight, You won't be feeling horny or you can't get it up or you won't get wet. I'm just saying if you're constantly eating these types of foods, eventually it's going to affect your libido. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Alcohol. Now, this one, I was kind of like, what? Because I know when I drink, I have the urge, like, I want to get it in. And I'm like, alcohol? But it was specific. It said like beer. I guess the yeast and whatever, it kind of brings your sex drive down. And then if you have too much, obviously you won't be able to perform. True story. I I always get y'all in my business. I used to have when I was, younger, I used to have those nights where I would get so lit, like so lit. I would literally wake up the next morning and I'm like, what happened? And I wouldn't remember. Like, I wouldn't remember if we did it or if we didn't do it or if I enjoyed it or if I didn't enjoy it. So, or if I fell asleep or on top of it, I would not remember. So I'm like, okay, I could see that how alcohol could affect your sex life. Because if you have too many drinks, I mean, there's no way you're going to keep an erection if you like 3, 4, 5 deep in. I mean, how is that even possible? You're definitely gonna fall asleep. You're definitely gonna fall asleep. So I could see how alcohol could mess with your sex life. Then it talks about stuff like edamame and cheese and all these different stuff, deli meats, mints, all this stuff is just not good for your sex drive. Definitely the edamames or the soybeans for men is not good. Soy in general is not good for men because it messes with your testosterone, and that's the driving force of everything. So those are some of the bad foods that you should stay away from, or I want to say stay away from, just don't consume it on a regular basis, okay? Because you're going to fuck up your sex drive, and then you're going to have issues in your sex life, pretty much. Okay, so now let's talk about the good foods. The good foods that get you wet while you're at work, and you feel like, damn, why I feeling all mushy down there? Like, what did I have for lunch? What did I have for lunch that has me feeling, like I want to take an extended lunch break? So let's start. One of my favorite tea, green tea at that. I don't have green tea tonight. I'm drinking mint, which is driving my sex drive down. But green tea is at the top of the list. Green tea stimulates your libido, increases your sex drive, makes you horny as F. Green tea, okay? That's at the top of the list. Next, salmon, fatty fish. Salmon is good for everything. But then you have some people out there who are allergic to it. My son is allergic to salmon. Sucks. Yeah, so a lot of people are allergic to salmon. I didn't even know that. My friend just told me she's allergic. She was eating salmon and she started like breaking out and whatever. But yeah, so salmon is really good for your sex drive. Pumpkin seeds. Now, I don't eat pumpkin seeds, but I do take the pumpkin seed oil pill. So I do take that. And it's not only good for your sex drive, it's also good for your heart, which is good because if your heart is working properly, then your penis and your vajayjay will be working properly. So I can see that. All right. And then you have your avocados, your pomegranate, watermelons, dark chocolate. I'm not a chocolate lover. Like the only time I would really eat chocolate is when I getting close to like my menses and I have a craving. I want some sweet, and then I'll have like a Kit Kat. But I'm not a big chocolate lover. But apparently, it's good for increasing your sex drive. So maybe I'll have to eat more chocolate and drink less mint tea. And then they have garlic, ginseng. But my favorite, which I used to drink like a glass every night until my professor said, you're going to become an alcoholic if you keep doing that. I'm like, I can't get through nursing school sober. But yes, red wine. Red wine is really, really good for increasing your sex drive. Now, this I can attest to because I can tell you, once I have a glass of red wine, everything in me starts to feel warm and exciting. And I'm like, yeah, I don't need a little something, something. But yeah, so red wine definitely increases your sex drive. All right, so now that we got all of that out of the way, and you know the good foods and the bad foods you can stay away from, or you can add it to your diet. You know, some people don't drink alcohol, so you could, if you don't drink alcohol, that's fine. You don't need the red wine. But there's I hope I'm pronouncing this properly. There's a pill called Resveratrol, and it's made from the same ingredients that's in the red wine. I used to take those too. That's in the red wine. So it will also help to increase your libido. It's called Resveratrol. I think that's how it's pronounced. So yeah, those are the good stuff you can try. So let's move right along. Now, I am going to be answering some questions that I got in my email. And these questions talk about sex, of course, because that's what we're talking about. So the first question I'm going to answer is, do bad attitude or does a bad attitude affect your sex life? Now, I think a bad attitude affects everything. But then you have some guys and girls, they're actually turned on by that. You know, some guys, they love a woman that has like a really, she's crazy and her attitude is like on 50 all the time. Some guys are turned on by that. And it works for them. I from my experience and in my opinion, it's like 50-50. You have some people, a bad attitude turns them on. Some people, it will turn them off. It just depends on, what floats your boat. Now, for me, I know that I love an arrogant man. Why? I don't know. Maybe because my dad is arrogant and I've seen that all of my life. I don't know. But I do know that shit turns me on. I love a man that's sure of himself. He's arrogant. When he steps into the room, he claims it. You're going to know he's there. You're going to smell him before you see him. I love that. Like, a lot of women, they're into, maybe money, looks, whatever. For me, you got to know who you are. And that gets my attention. When you walk into a room and everybody stop what they're doing and the focus is on you, like, damn, I want him. So, and that turns me on. So, and sometimes people that are arrogant do have a bit of an attitude, well, a lot of attitude. So that's why I said, I think it's 50-50. I wouldn't necessarily say, a bad attitude would turn everybody off from sex because that's not the case. Some people, like I say, is turned on by it. They like those crazy girls who gonna bust out their windshield and slash their tires, and then they gonna come home and say, "Bitch, you better fuck me tonight." So some people really, really like that. Some people are turned off by that. They don't want to deal with all that drama. And it's like, that's too much drama for me. I can't even get it out because you too extra, And some people, once they start going crazy, it's hard right away. Or, just like how they say some women like aggressive men, or, they like a man that be like, where you at? Blowing up your phone and doing all of that. And that turns them on. For me, I can't deal with all that. I don't like tracking devices. Don't track my holy grail, okay? Don't do that. I don't like to be tracked. But some people, it works for them, okay? So the next question, can good sex cause someone to stay in a toxic relationship? I gotta put the teeth out on this one and pick up the Baileys. Can good sex cause someone to stay in a toxic relationship? Now, according to my friends, when the dick is good, they ain't going nowhere. They will fight, they will cuss, they will carry on, they will approach the next woman, they will even attempt to leave. They might even pack up and leave, but they're gonna go back. And so my question is always, why do you go back? Like, why do you keep going back to a relationship where there's a lot of infidelity or whatever, especially if you didn't agree to that? Why do you keep going back? And that's one of the things that always, 70% of the time, it's always the dick is good. And I'm like, really? Is that good to make you keep coming back? Like, to keep going back to that toxic environment? Okay. So, and I remember, honestly, I would judge my friends like that. I would seriously judge them like that. Like, geez, I would never do that. I ain't never going back to no guy if he crazy and he cheating and he doing. I don't care how good the dick is. Like, I would say that all the time. Well, life have a way of bringing you to your knees, and I happen to be in that situation. Same guy I was talking about who, had the weight issue. Well, child, I I, 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 I didn't know what it was. I just, hold on. Let me see on this. Listen, this guy was crazy. I had never met someone so crazy in my entire life. And it wasn't the kind of crazy where you'd be like, well, I'm not crazy. No, he was crazy and he knew he was crazy and he was okay with being crazy. And like that was the introduction. Hi, I am such and such and I'm crazy and I just want you to know you could call me crazy, you could call me whatever you want to call me, but you're not gonna call me no clown. And I'm like, okay. So the first time he said that to me, I just took it as whatever. But as the time went on and the longer I was with him, I was like, damn, this bitch crazy for real. He was crazy. But I kept going back. And the worst part of it was he knew he had like a hold on me. And I couldn't figure out what it was. I was like, why do I keep going back to this guy? He is crazy. Why am I putting myself through this? But I figured it out. I think we had separated or whatever. And I was at my business and I was doing my thing. And he came in there and in the middle of me working, I was just like, shit. So he came in there and it was like as soon as I saw him, my whole world was like upside down. So I would always try my best like not to see him because I knew once I saw him, that was it. I was back in the lion's den. But it was like all this dude had to do was touch me and I was putty in his hands. That's it. And he knew it. He knew it. And I was just like, damn, so this is what my friends is talking about. When the day's good, you just keep going back. But I had to make a conscious decision like, listen, I don't care how good this dick is. This man is crazy. He's gonna drive me crazy or I'm gonna drive him crazy. And I'm not gonna let him drive me crazy. I gotta get out of this. But yeah, it took me a while to actually get out of that. And when I did get out of it, I knew that the only way I wouldn't be drawn back into that was I couldn't see him. So I went for like months and months and months, and he called, he texted, he did everything. I'm like, no, I cannot see this guy because once I see him, putty in his hand. So I understand that good bit could cause you to stay in a toxic situation. Again, this is from my experience. This does not have to be your experience. This does not have, I repeat, this does not have to be your experience. It is my experience. And like I said, I used to be really judgmental before I actually went through that. And I'm just like, damn, sex really do have a hold on you mentally, emotionally, physically, especially if you really enjoy your partner and you enjoy engaging with him and being intimate with your partner. So that is my response to that question. The next question, should a woman teach her man how to please her? Okay, listen, I always say that in order for you to have a healthy sex life, you have to first know how to please yourself. You have to first know what you enjoy sexually. You have to know how you like to be touched. You have to know what things turn you off, what things turn you on. And if you don't know those things, you could end up having like a not so exciting sex life. You could just be going through the motions. Now, for me, I'm a very sensual person. So when it comes to sex, I like to be involved, not just physically. For me, it's mental, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. So I know how I like to be touched. I know what turns me on. I know what will turn me off. Um, and I always say that when you get involved with someone new, that person is programmed for the person before you. You are programmed for the person before the new person. So now you two have to now learn each other's body, the likes, the dislikes, and all of that stuff. You cannot go into a situation thinking, okay, what worked for Jane is going to work for Mary, because Mary may be a freak and Jane might just love missionary, you know? So it is important to have that conversation with your partner and be like, no, don't touch me there or touch me here. Or, take his hand and put it there where you want it. Like, play with my clit like this, or kiss me like this, or, I didn't know, you know what? Stuff shit on my business. Anyhow, so dude does this thing on my neck, and I I cannot explain what it is. I cannot explain it. I do not know what the hell he's doing. But whatever it is, it it messes with my psyche. And I'm like, what are I? Listen, guys, I can't explain it. But that was something new that I learned. I didn't even know that touching my neck like that would create such a feeling inside of my body, like to the point where I feel like I'm losing control of myself. Like, we don't have to do nothing else. Just do that thing what you do. Like, do that thing what you do out here. Like, just do that all night. Like, you don't even have to penetrate me after that, because I promise you, I'm gonna bust, like, without even being touched. I'm like, what are you doing? But anyways, that's me. So I think it's important that you have that conversation with your partner and you express to your partner your likes and your dislikes. Because there are certain places, if you touch me, it's going to feel repulsive to me. I don't want to be touched like that. One of those places is my belly button. That is off limits. Like, don't ever touch my belly button. Don't put your tongue there. Don't put your finger there. Don't. It is like the worst feeling for me. I could be in the mood. I could be like ready to go. You put your tongue there, everything shuts down. I'm like over it. I'm done. I don't even want to go any further. So everybody has, a spot or spots that they don't like to be touched, or they like it to be touched a certain way. So it's important to express that to your partner. Like, I have a friend, the only way you could actually touch her breast, she has to be in love with you. If she's not in love with you, you ain't getting no breast action. And then I have certain people, they don't kiss. The only way they kiss, they have to be in love with you. Otherwise, no tongue action. So people like different things, and they like their bodies to be touched different ways. So that conversation is extremely, extremely important. So guys, that's what I have for you tonight. Next week, I will be back, and it's going to be really exciting because I always try to switch it up, and I always try to come up with new and exciting ideas. So next week, I'm going to have something really awesome for you guys. Again, I am testing it out. I'm testing the lighting. So hopefully next week, because I really don't like the camera, on this computer. So hopefully next week I will have it set up where I really, really like it. But either way, I'm going to have something exciting in store for you guys. So make sure you tune in next week, Saturday at 10 p.m. I will be live again. During the week, I may try to post some pre-recorded stuff. I'm going to mess around with it and see how my schedule is, but I may try to post some pre-recorded stuff. If not this week, definitely next week. But I will be here next Saturday at 10 p.m. So thank you guys for listening in. Like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. And I love you. And this is Sex Tea with Nadia Alexandria, and I will be back next Saturday. So take care. Love you guys. Bye.